Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Jude Bellingham, with Manchester United reportedly bid 25 million for him and many other top teams keeping an eye on him. I thought it would be a good time to talk about him, his potential and what could potentially happen even before the end of this transfer window. I'm going to be looking into what Jude's all about, why he is so sought after by these teams and what could be best for Jude and Blues going forward. Before we get into it though, here's a quick shout out to our sponsors over at OneFootball. Just want to say a big shout out to our friends over at OneFootball. It's the ultimate platform for football fans across the world, with everything you need from scores, fixtures, player stats, articles and social posts all in one place. If you want to check it out, you can download it using the first link in the description. So you might be watching this video, maybe you're not a Blues fan, maybe a United fan or another fan just curious of what Jude Bellingham is like. Well, he's your classic box-to-box midfielder. He's played in a number of positions and he's been absolutely unreal for us this season. When he first came through, before the season started, he went on pre-season training and we thought, yeah, this lad looks good. We've seen him in the under-23s. He progressed through the academy ranks way ahead of his years, playing with people that were a lot older than him. And he's just continued to progress. Every time a challenge has come his way, he's risen to it. I thought he might get the odd game in the cup, maybe the odd substitute appearance, but it's been way more than that. So I've got his stats up on OneFootball at the minute, and he has played 24 out of the 28 matches this season, which is incredible considering he's just 16 years of age. He's been able to play that many games in his very first season, his full season with Blues in the Championship, playing with grown men, some of which are twice his age or even older. He's got 4 goals and 1 assist already, so he's already our second top goal scorer from a midfield position as well. That's quite impressive. You've got to say, he's played in a number of positions. He's played as centre attacking mid, pushing forward, getting into the box, but he's also played as more of a deep lying midfielder alongside Sunjic, and he's looked just as composed there, just as comfortable. I remember the first time he got put into that CDM role, I thought, that's a bad idea. He's a young lad, like he's going to get bullied, but he just hasn't. He's got this composure about him that I haven't seen from anyone at Blues, to be fair. And some games he's actually keeping us ticking more than others. He seems to have this passion and desire and attitude that other players might not have. He clearly wants to make it to the top, and clearly he's going to keep showing it with his performances. You know, as I say, there are scouts watching all the time and he's only impressing these people time and time again with his performances. His pass accuracy is 76% as well across the whole season, which again for a lad of his age is pretty incredible. It's one of our best passes of the ball. You've got to say the way he holds up play, some of the deft little touches he has. He's even used a couple skill moves to beat players on the corner, and we're just like, how is he doing this? He's clearly a good player, so if you're not sure about him and you're not sure whether he's going to be ready for a Premier League club or whether he's just going to be a flop or whatever, I highly doubt it. Like he's going to go all the way. One of the reasons I think he'll make it to the top as well is down to his attitude, but I'll get into that later. So looking at this move, obviously, like we don't like selling players, of course. But I think there's a natural way that things happen, and with players like this, you sort of accept that they're going to move on one day. He's a good lad. He's a very good footballer, and it's only a matter of time before a club puts in an offer that we just can't refuse. You know, with our finances at the minute, with the way we are, we can't afford to just be holding on to players like this, and it is a real shame. And we've got to think what's best for Jude as well, because say Man U come in for him, they bid 25 mil. If we go ahead and accept that, you've got to think about the other things as well, like do his family move with him. He's got a younger brother that's in our academy as well, that's meant to be just as good as him and have just as much potential. You got to think, if Jude moves to Man United or something, will his family want to move as well and relocate, and will that mean that Jude Bellingham goes as well? That's another thing. But again, it's just, you've got to think what's best for the player in these circumstances as well. Ideally, we'd want a sort of, and I think you can get like a win-win situation with it. So talking about that win-win situation, according to reports, Blues have said that they may be willing to sell Jude Bellingham in this transfer window, but only with an 18-month loan back to Blues. And I think it's a win-win-win. It's a win for Blues, it's a win for Jude, and it's a win for the team that wants to buy him, considering they're a top Premier League team or a top flight club in another country. So if you think about it, you know, if he does go this month, and he is loaned back to us, would you be happy with that? Let me know down in the comments. It means that we'd have the end of this season and the whole of next season with Jude playing football, by which time you'd probably think he's going to be ready for the Premier League, if not ready at the end of this season. Like, you just don't know. But in terms of the way he's growing and all that sort of thing, it probably is a good thing. You got to think about it. By the end of next season, he'll just be turning 18, and there are a lot of players at that age breaking through in the Premier League, playing well for big clubs, and I think Jude 100% can be one of those players. If we can work a deal where we get a good bit of money in for him and we're able to keep him until that age when he will outgrow us, then I feel like that's the best option for everyone. Personally, I'd like to save it till the summer, but if he's still playing in a blue shirt, I don't think it matters that much either way, as long as we get the right amount of money for him and work out the right deal for all parties. Some of you might be thinking, you know, he's probably just another flop. You know, why spend so much money on a player that could be a flop? You've had many of them. You've had, like, Ravel Morrison. You've had plenty of players that have been touted as future stars and have never reached the heights that people have set for them. The one thing I think that's the difference with Jude Bellingham is the fact that he's got this attitude about him. He's all about football, and that's it for him. He's got a really good family around him. Football. His dad was a footballer, scored 400 plus goals in non-league, I think. But I think they have his best interests at heart, and I think he's got, as much as he's playing football ahead of his years, I think he's thinking ahead of his years as well, in terms of the way he composes himself in interviews, the way you can see on the pitch. He's commanding, he doesn't shy away from things. And for me, I feel like he has got the attitude which will make him go far. He's almost like a Kante in that sense, where he doesn't bother too much about you know, flexing things on social media or whatever. He's just all about football from what I can see. He doesn't seem to have an attitude problem. He always seems to be like wanting to do the best for whoever's around him, for the team, for the fans, for the manager. I think he does have the attitude that will take him to a high level and potentially even playing for England one day. You just don't know the level he's going to reach, but everything that's come his way so far, he's smashed it and gone through it. So I have every faith that he's going to make it to the top level. Also, I think other teams think that as well. You know what I mean? I think Man U think that, because they wouldn't be putting these bids in if they didn't think that highly of him. Scouts have been looking at him since he was 14, 15, now 16. They're seeing the progression he's making. They're seeing that, and they can almost project the levels that he's going to reach through his, like, how quickly he's settled into the championship team. It's incredible, and he's only getting better as well. In summary, I don't want Jude to leave, of course I don't, but I think with a player like this, you also don't want to hold them back either. Like, I think there's a way we can get a good deal in this, and we can get, as I said before, a win-win-win for everyone. I think by the time he's 18, he will be ready for the Premier League, and then you've got to think, will Blues be in the Premier League in that time? Probably not, with the way things are going at the minute. Can that money be reinvested to other areas that we need to help us grow? Potentially. Even while we've still got Jude on loan. So at the end of the day, I usually feel very negative when players are looking at going. But I think when you've got a player like this, it's almost like you wish them the best. And like I say, if Blues, I hope Blues are smart with it. They hold out for the right amount of money, and we managed to get him back on a loan, on an 18-month loan or something like that. That would be key. So yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to have my 2 cents on the situation, because I know there's a lot of talk about it. It's the January transfer window. There's 10 days left, and he could well be a Man United player by the end of it. But hopefully we get to see him progress for at least another year to another 18 months. That would be ideal. But what I want to know is, what are your thoughts on him? Do you think he's going to make it to the top level? How would you be, what would be the ideal situation for you? Would you like us to keep him and say no to any deal, to any offer of money? Or do you think there's a certain point where if we're offered 30, 35 in the summer maybe, that you're like, okay, maybe, with a loan back or something? I don't know. I want to know what your thoughts are on it. Even if you think on the other side and you think he's overhyped and everything, I don't. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. So make sure you get those thoughts in the comments down below. Like the video if you did enjoy it. It's just a quick one for me. A quick thoughts roundup, if you know what I mean. and I will see you in the next one. Make sure you subscribe if you're new and hit that notification bell if you haven't already, so you know every time I upload. But that'll be it from me. Keep right on.